Hi, I'm Adam.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Chris.
And you're watching Flack.
Top Chef, y'all.
Top Chef?
All right. Adam has not seen any Top Chef.
No, I haven't.
But I'm sure he'll still have many insightful things to
Oh,
contribute.
yes, of course. But Austin and I are Top Chef fanatics. And we just endured the season finale this last week.
It was...
Go ahead.
By the time it rolled around to that final moment, I mean, it was painful. It was painful to watch Richard falter for the entire
now,
episode.
I was going to say, first off, some spoiler alerts are
spoiler
coming.
alert.
We apologize profusely to all of you who are waiting to watch it.
Everybody figured that out who watched the Office or the Lost episode.
Yeah.
We spoiler without warning.
But anyway, so yeah, Richard falters.
Richard faltered in the end, but Lisa didn't win. And that was all that mattered to me.
Okay, well,
I wish that her soul had been more destroyed.
broad overall commentary here. Let's start with this because there were basically, I think,
I'm going to take a nap over here.
yeah, okay, that's fine. I think there were like 4 chefs that we were looking at, and I mean Richard and Stephanie. I think were the 2 big ones, pretty much from the first or second episode. People figured to see them there.
There was also
Dale was a strong chef, and Antonia was also a strong chef.
Yes, I would say Dale. Antonia, not so much.
Well, yeah, but see, Antonia really got into her own at the end. Everybody always loved her home-style cooking, and she understood quite a few of the challenges and was able to execute them well. Every Top Chef season needs a villain. You always need a villain,
or 2.
Yeah,
someone who's kind of emotionally weak, someone who's really hard to get along with to make the show interesting. And they always go a little bit longer than they perhaps should, just because it spices things up. There's a fun little disclaimer at the end of the show where it says that the judges made the decision in tandem with the producers, with input from the producers.
and
that's interesting.
You can comment on this because reality TV isn't exactly reality TV. It's much more like the art of documentary, where you take things that have happened, but because it's history, and you have to be selective, you have to knit together a cohesive narrative using just points of punctuation throughout a story.
Well, there's a famous French film experiment from the very early days of film where they filmed this actor just looking blankly into the camera. And then they intercut the same shot with a bowl of fruit, and the audiences all said that he looked very hungry. And they intercut it with a couple other shots, and they all said that his emotions were this, that, or the other, almost unanimously across the board, even though it was the same shot of him, keyed to the cutting. And so you can tell, for instance, on Top Chef, when they're waiting for the results, they make them wait in this room and just film them.
Yeah.
And eventually they get enough facial expressions that they can tell whatever story the producers wish to tell.
Exactly.
By intercutting the shots of the people waiting, for the acts to fall with what the judges are saying.
Yeah, and so in light of all that editorial control the producers have, I mean, Lisa was our villain. And I think Lisa sucked. But we kind of had to keep Lisa around. And Lisa universally sucked. The blogs all hated her. She's even come right out and said, I don't pay attention to the blogs. They don't know anything. They can't afford to eat in my restaurant anyway. Which, by the way, is in New York and $20 to $30 a plate. I can afford that.
That's not that bad.
It's cheaper than restaurants I know of in Idaho.
But she wasn't villainous enough for me to actually go to her restaurant. Sorry, Lisa.
Yeah. But and anyway, so I think the real story here, and I'm using Ted Allen, Judge Ted. He's an occasional guest on the show.
A frequent guest judge.
Yeah. He wrote one of the most insightful blog posts I've ever read. I haven't read many Top Chef blogs, but I'm just talking about this guy is a judge, and you'd figure he'd just do the producer thing, or something like that. But actually, he gives this little window in. I'd like you to just listen to this, hear it, because it comforted me if you were as disappointed as I was about Richard's loss. The day after the finale shoot, waiting with Barry for our flight, I saw Richard wandering alone through the airport in Puerto Rico. He looked dazed, and I felt so sorry for him. He was, of course, ever gracious to everyone after the battle, putting on a brave face with cast and judges alike for post-show drinks in Old San Juan. congratulating Stephanie with complete sincerity, thanking the producers. But at the airport, in the clear light of day, it was obvious that the finality was hitting him. Nobody fights that hard for second place. And that's really the tragedy here. I think I noted in my Twitter feed that I was freaking out over the finale. It was tragic but delicious. Because it's like, Richard, I mean, he lost. I don't really think Stephanie won. Stephanie was a fantastic chef. She did some good things. She did some really surprising things. Her red meat course for the 4-course
She
was
won
incredible.
the same amount of whatever they call them, battles. I don't
She
know.
did, yeah. Like the
Challenges,
elimination
whatever.
challenges.
The quickfire
They were
challenges.
4-4 at the very end. Not quickfires, elimination challenges.
Oh,
4-4.
very good.
But still, I don't know. Like Stephanie was just like solid.
Her
but,
story was not.
Is she the one who makes the down home kind of home style?
well, she
I don't know
has
what you
she
call
has
it.
homier
She
flavors.
has a
more
bent in
traditional
that
flavors.
direction, but her story was not quite as compelling. She was very stoic, which is admirable, but doesn't make for very good TV.
Well, she was humble. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. She seemed like a very good person, but Richard, it was clear how much he was fighting for it.
Well, it was clear how freaking good he was too. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, the guy always did stuff where the
Was
judges
he
would
good
be like,
because he put
"Holy damn."
electrodes in his food and used nitrous oxide.
Yeah, and like cooked with lasers. I mean, that was part of it, but I mean, they're pretty clear on the show. I mean, they vote for like fried chicken dishes when they taste good. I mean, the judges aren't as pretentious as you might imagine they would be on a cooking show. It's stuff apparently just tastes phenomenal too.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff because there's an art form. I mean, and in the second season, they comment that food is the only art form that involves 4 of the 5 senses. The only one that doesn't involve is hearing, and it can even involve hearing in certain circumstances.
Sure.
So, I mean, you've got presentation, you've got texture, you've got all of these things, and his technologies just added to that. With technology, you change texture, you change color, you change flavor profiles, you change a whole bunch of stuff.
And
So-
he knew the risk of using those, that it would become gimmicky. So
Yeah,
he was pretty restrained about his use of them. But and I think we're running out of time. Not a 1-minute warning, but I thought that blog post was very insightful, and I wish that Richard had won it, but I'm so glad that Lisa didn't.
Yeah, and Stephanie, I like you. I know you're never going to watch this, but whatever. If I ever get within 100 miles of Atlanta, I'm eating at Richard's restaurant. I don't care if I have to sell my firstborn child. I'm going to do it. So I love this guy. He was like my favorite. I was rooting for him. So, yeah.
But he lost. All right.
Well, thank you for watching Flack.
Thank you.
Whoa, did I turn that off? How did I do that? From touching
It's
this
on
one?
the same circuit.
Daggone it. I'm sorry. Dude, Austin, I'm sorry, bro.
That's all right.
I think it's because you guys touch them at the top, at this part here. What it does is it puts a really lot of pressure on. the
Well,
actual-
it's the track.
where it's
I mean, it's
connected. There. Oh,
just sort of have to like.
do you want to screw that screw in a little bit more? Would that tighten it up? Or
You just want to twist.
am I just retarded?
Oh,
Austin, Chris is meditating.
We just had to start touching crap.
Sorry.
Everything was fine until people started touching.
I'm a horrible person. I'm a bad man.
see. Yeah.
Stop again. It's gonna turn off mid-episode. Okay.
All right.
Let me lift the camera.
No, no,
Just
No,
a
no,
tap
no,
it.
no, 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 no.
Don't touch that camera.
No, he's worried about height too. Like, oh gosh, everything's gonna get messed up.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful. Oh, okay, just a little bit more. Just
Okay.
A little bit more. Oh, that's perfect.